Yo, we are live. What up, beautiful human beings? Hello, hello. What's good, what's good? We're gonna do that thing where we wait a little bit for a few more people to come on. Just pretend that that's not a little bit awkward. Blessings, bless up, Hamish, what's happening? You're gonna wanna stick around on this live. I'm gonna be dropping in with a brother of mine, Adam Jackson, powerful man. Adam Jackson in the house. Adam Jackson sending the request. Right, let's drop in. Bottom. Where are you?
Let's drop in.
Blessings, brother.
What's up, Ben? Good to see you, man.
So good to see your face. So good to hear your voice. How are you?
I'm doing really well. I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you perfectly, yeah.
Cool. Yeah, one of my boys was kind of wilding out all night, and I'm here for it.
Nice.
I'm in it. I'm in life. You know what I mean? All of it. And I've been following you. I've been watching you. Looks like you're in the height of new love, my brother.
Dude.
Good to see you. Good to see you too.
Thank you. I know you know what that feels like. Yeah. Yeah, dude. And I'm in the height of romance as well right now. I'm just gonna see if I can flip my camera around and show you the view that's right in front of me. I'm in Italy, bro. Look at that. I'm by Lake Como with my beloved Leonie. And yeah, we're just out here missioning around. So yeah. I'm hopefully gonna see you soon in Scotland, am I right? Where'd you go, Adam? Are you meditating on me? I cannot hear you. You're like zenned out. There we go. And we're back.
And we're back.
And we're back.
I have no idea.
Mercury's in the microwave at the moment, so we can expect some technical challenges, I suppose.
Yeah, we were in Sacred Sons was in Italy. Sacred Sons was in Berlin, Germany recently, as you know, in Devon, England. I believe you were there for EMX. And yes, we are coming to Scotland, September 14th through 17th near Edinburgh. We're bringing 150 men with us.
Beautiful. Actually, it's so funny, but it feels like a massive full circle for me because I was at both Devon UK EMXs, the winter edition, which was gnarly, and then the summer edition, which was like full bloom, completely different experience. But my first two ever men's work experiences were Convergence 3 and 4, I think, out in California.
Alpha and
2
Omega.
and 3. Alpha and Omega.
3 and 3.
3 and 3.
It's Convergence 3, Alpha and Omega.
It's split into the 2 weekends, yeah.
Yeah, and it's totally full circle, man, because I remember meeting you out in the desert in Jacumba in Southern California, and actually the place you were coming in from, right? And so this full circle moment too of seeing you in full love, seeing you in romance, but also seeing you doing the men's work, not just participating in it, but like fully bringing your presence to it.
Yeah, man.
You know.
Yeah, it's been such a journey. What was that, like 4 years ago? Yeah. A lot has changed in that 4 years.
Yeah. Well, could I ask you, has the men's work helped you in your personal growth, in your relations? Do you have some new friends that you didn't have before?
Yeah.
These type of things.
Yeah, 100%. And just to give a little bit of context to anybody who might just be dropping on this live, Adam Jackson, the legend and the myth, is a co-founder of Sacred Sons, which is a brotherhood. And I'll let you speak more to that in a moment. And but Sacred Sons for me, the Brotherhood of Sacred Sons, and the work that you guys are doing, and how you so kindly brought me in those years ago into the space and into the work, and introduced me to what it really means to like show up in a brotherhood, and what masculinity really is, and how it shows up. It's changed my life in ways that I don't think I can even fully comprehend. That's certainly beyond my capacity to like bring language to it. It's a felt experience. My whole life is a different experience. It's like, Flip, where to even begin? You're talking about new connections with other men. That began at that began at the first ever Sacred Sons event that I went to, and I had no idea what I was getting myself in for at this Convergence. I didn't know what men's work was. I just had this deep calling, and you were the center point of a dream that I'd had.
Wow.
That was the invocation of the calling to actually step into the men's work. The dream was very lucid, and I was in a circle of about 100, 200 men, and there were 3 men in the middle, and one of them had dreadlocks, and it was you, and you had a massive stick, and it had a crystal in the top that was glowing, and you were just going like this. And I woke up.
I have that staff, by the way. It's not just a dream staff. I actually have a staff with the crystal.
That is such a powerful staff right there.
What's interesting about that for me is I've had multiple people recently affirming that they've seen me in dreams, they've seen me in Aya visions. And I'm like, man, I must be out there astral traveling, like doing the work on the other end of it, calling the men in through the dream work.
Yeah, dude. No wonder you're not sleeping that well at night, because you're like, your consciousness is off, like in other realms, just doing mad wizardry, like mad healing. Yeah. So that was.
I just want to say, I think it's important for us as men to have a space to become initiated once again. Initiated into manhood, yes, but initiated back into brotherhood. When I started in this work, I was also in kind of a valley in my life, not necessarily a dark night, but in a place where I had a lot of questions and questioning about who I am and where I'm going. And I looked around and I'm like, I don't have any brothers around. Like, what happened to all my friends? Like I kind of gave myself to career path and achievement, and found myself like wanting that connection with other men. And it's important. It's vital to us. And it's like, I would say for you, I remember, you're a champion athlete, you're a world champion kayaker. And so, competition well, right? Yeah. But to step into a space with like healthy competition where we're uplifting each other, not always trying to beat each other. Yeah. It does something to us. It's like, it's enlivening for us as men.
Yeah. The competition piece was exactly what was coming to mind as you were talking about that. It's like being in right relation to other men, like, and understanding that that's even a thing that can be worked on and understood. And for me, I had really good friends. I had some friends that I'd done a lot with and been on many journeys with, and somehow I always found there to be like a bit of a gap. And I realized in retrospect now that I was competing with them against them, to try and use them to get up and raise myself up. And of course, that's not a win-win game. That's like that's a finite game that we're playing there. So now there's a whole different ball game where I remember arriving early to the Convergence and spending some time in the presence of men whose energy I'd never experienced before. And after the first weekend, the one thing that I really took home, and I think I probably mentioned it to you, is like I just felt this deep relaxation in my nervous system, just being around brothers who have this like level of sort of inner unity between their like emotional body and like their feminine and their masculine sort of pillars are like in alignment and helping each other. And that energy was like, oh, thank fuck there are men out here that are doing this work.
Yes.
And now that on my actual physical body is in the presence of them, I could feel what that felt like. And to begin with, it was like triggering. It was like confronting and you wouldn't even have to say anything. Just your presence, the energy of a presence would be enough to be like, oh, whoa, this is like illuminating parts of me that feel a little bit insecure around these men. And now I look back and like, that's a blessing to feel that, especially since these men like yourself are not playing off that insecurity and like trying to dominate me and my insecurities. It's like, no, your insecurities are welcome here as well. Like, let's look at that.
It's all an invitation, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, in our spaces, we're inviting the all of you, the more of you, the parts of you that go unseen in your day-to-day life and in your day-to-day reality.
Yeah.
And so it's all an invitation. We're not forcing in any way. And I wanted to say to the presence piece, because I think it's significant. A lot of times we hear, be around like-minded individuals. Like that will help. And certainly that's helpful. But there's something about being around like-hearted individuals where we're like making those heart connections. We're making those soul connections. We're beyond politics. We're beyond belief. We're here in truth. We're here in honesty. We're here in acceptance. Yeah. That is the energy that I want to thrive and live in. I want my brothers to thrive and live in. And so we come in with all of these layers of resistance, all of these conceived notions because of the stories, because of the things that really happen to us in our lives. You know, I like to remind all of us, you know, many of us, most of us have been hurt by other men in our lives. And so it is triggering to come into a men's weekend. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it can be a lot. But what we find when we cross that threshold, we step into that space of acceptance and integrity, like we kind of drop all the bullshit. We drop some of the armor and we get to just be who we are here to be and who we are here to become. And so now, see, I'm seeing you on your journey, and now you're providing that presence for these other men who are coming in. You know, you're at Devon for the second time. I have to imagine, how is that for you to be on the flip side now where you've participated in several times and new men are coming in and you're seeing the nervousness in their eyes?
Yeah, it's beautiful because it feels like I mean, it's quite easy for me in this lifetime for me to like switch places with people and in their consciousness and kind of see what that might feel like, and so I remember the presence that I felt, that energy that I felt when I first arrived at my first Convergence and my first Sacred Sons event. The love was like, you can be whoever you authentically choose to be in this moment. And you know that I'm a different human now. I'm a different person now, and that you'll most likely feel that when we reconnect in the physical. And still, it's like just pure love. It's like, as long as you're bringing your authentic self, it's fully welcome and accepted. And you might be someone completely different next time we meet, and that's also fully welcome and accepted. But the armor and the bullshit that's wanting to be sort of taken off and dropped off, that's part of the process of showing up into these events. And so to see other brothers now, it doesn't matter to me who they think they are, what they think their insecurities are, what they think their strengths are, anything. I'm just like there, like full open.
Yes.
I'm just like, well done for getting here. Like, huge to just get here.
To get here.
Just huge. It's like almost most of the work has been done at that stage. It's the amount of courage that it takes to show up into a container that you know is designed to show you some of the parts of yourself that you've been hiding from and running away from a little bit. So, and in love. And I think for me, a big part of my journey has been learning to allow myself to receive love, my own love and other people's love, and especially now other love from other brothers, like from men. And so this has been my training ground in these spaces, is to learn to like just go, okay, I accept the love. I accept it from myself. And if you guys can love me, I can love me too. You know, if you can love all these parts of me that I struggle to love, and they're fully welcome in this space, fully, then I can also fully welcome them in myself.
Yeah, because you're talking about like you're a changed man, and that is absolutely true, because change is inevitable. Evolution is inevitable. And so the type of men who are coming to these weekends, they are coming to become changed men. It's like, I like that ask this question: did you come here to stay the same, or did you come here to evolve?
Yeah.
Like in whatever way that looks like for you. It could be evolve relationally, could be to evolve physically, could be to evolve intellectually, you know, to broaden our language.
Yeah.
Whatever that evolution that you're seeking in your life, like have a place to come and train, have a place to come and learn these relational tools. Like, you know, you were raised in the UK, yeah. You know, the educational system in the United States, and I imagine the UK as well, does not give us relational training. How dope would it be if in, let's say, like the 8th grade, we get a conscious uncoupling class? Listen, more of our relationships are going to end than are going to remain. It's a fact, by the numbers.
Yeah.
And so why are we not training in how to consciously relate with one another and to like begin and end relationships in a good way, for example?
Yeah.
And so we didn't get that training as kids. We didn't get that training as young men. We didn't get that training as adults. There's corporations running on fucking caffeine and Adderall and bad decision making right now. And it's like what we're cultivating here beyond the men's work is like we're bringing these relational tools into the world, into our lives, in an attempt to like create the world, the reality that we choose to be a part of, right?
Yeah.
And so in saying that, the type of men who are coming, what, like, I would, for anyone who's watching this, it's like, what is the up level? What is the evolution that you are seeking in your life? And a lot of men come to us from those places of deep heartbreak, from the places of I don't know, from the space of the unknown, and we create an incredible environment to go into the unknown together. And so something that's really powerful too is when we come out of the unknown, it's like, oh, all of a sudden I got an army of brothers behind me. I got a couple of new friends who are like here for me. They know my story. They've seen me in my deepest place, you know, whether that's, you know, see me in my deepest and also see me in my highest, right? Because we get to experience the fullness.
Yeah.
And it's powerful, man. It's powerful. It's accessible to us at all times. And really, we have to make the agreement to come together. Like that's the piece that, and like you said, sometimes just getting there is like, is the work.
Yeah. Yeah. It takes everything just to get there. Yeah. Yeah. But in person is the thing. It's like, this is what our nervous systems are designed to do. We're supposed to be like feeling each other out. Like, and part of being a man and part of like the masculine energy is that protector. So it's natural for us to like be almost in like a judgment observer, kind of feeling people out. Like you gotta feel people out to like see if they're a threat or if they're safe. And so to also like bring that into a space that's like safe to train in through like the ritual combat, and other aspects of like the program that you guys put together, which is like very intentionally, specifically curated and created to bring these experiences forward in a loving way that are really real aspects of life. So it's like training for life as a man, and you can bring that into the world.
As a man in 2023, by the way, like I don't know if you noticed, the entire world's on fire, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like we are being beckoned to show up.
Yeah.
We are being beckoned to use our voices. We are being beckoned to create art. We are being beckoned to hold the space of grief. And we are being beckoned to celebrate this life and the beauty of all life, right?
Yeah.
That's like, this is what it means to be a man in 2023.
Yeah.
You know, we're providers, we're strong, we're holding down the foundation and pieces of this fabric of reality, and we're being called up, and ultimately we're being called into mission, purpose, service, these type of things. And so I imagine someone who's following you or I would be like resonant with this type of idea, right? Like there's more for us here.
Yeah.
And we found out it's not coming from isolation. It's not coming from being in our separate boxes and perpetuating like this deepening into separation. Like what the real call is for us to come back into community, to be connected in person. We're living in this digital age. And so I personally believe that this is not like these men's weekends, the Convergence. which is not just a men's weekend. I mean, this is a remembrance, it's a ceremony, it's a return to self, it's a return to our hearts, it's all of that. Um, and it's like, it's a return to community, to actual connection. And so it's not just something that we're like, oh, this will be fun to go to, like a festival. Like, okay, I'm going to go to this festival. Sometimes there can even be more isolation in those experiences.
Yeah.
There's something that's really special about this, and it's missing so broadly that it's becoming a necessity. That's what I want to say. It's like it's necessary for us to intentionally come back into community and be connected once again.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. It feels like a preparation for an inevitable future. It's
Yeah.
like,
and
you like to use the word, like the term ancient futures, like all the time. You like bring those ancient codes into our future, into our present now, because it's like, and those codes are community. Those codes are like healthy competition, and to understand what it means to like be present, be grounded, but also to be open-hearted. So to understand our emotions, to be emotionally intelligent, and to be not completely just cutting off and closing our hearts off when the storm starts to get a little bit challenging. And to actually step forward into that fire and to have the preparation in the rear view mirror to be like, no, I've trained for this. Like, I've done this.
I've got my tools. And I've got my breath. I know who I am. This is really important. These are really important things to have. And all of the pieces that you're talking to, from the ritual combat, ritual connection, or, you know, people have looked at Sacred Son's social media, you'll see a lot of really cathartic experiences being held by other brothers, right? All of it is bringing us back to this now moment. It's bringing us into full presence. We're not fighting to see who the better fighter is. You know, we're not fighting to best one another. We're engaging in healthy combat to be met by one another, because ultimately what we need to thrive as human beings is also the reflection of other human beings. And so, like, how amazing is it to step into that container and get reflections from someone like yourself or myself or Kevin Walton or J Mac, and to get like those direct reflections in the moment of full presence. Like, it's an enlightening type of experience, right? Like, it does something to us to receive in that way. And once we become present in our lives, it's like, then we are now not just like the actor in the show of our lives, but we're actually creating the story, the reality which we live in. And what I wanted to say to you about change being inevitable, I look at you right now and I'm like, oh my God, my brother's in love. Like, there's a part of me that's like, yes, Ben is fully in. And I see you. And then there's this other part of me that goes, oh my gosh, like, I know where this leads. And it can lead many ways. And meanwhile, I'm raising 3 boys. We have another baby on the way. And I'm looking at where you are, like, hey, brother, when you're at that next iteration of this love, because love is the most powerful energy that we are afforded to receive, right? Love is the most powerful thing of all. And so what comes from that is more creation, more life. And so there will be more inevitable change for you when you step into a container years from now. And I don't want to like project this onto you because I don't know what's happening. And you go, hey, Adam, I'm having my first child. Like, you're in a brand new iteration. And so this is why we talk about initiations, thresholds, and rites of passage. We are not the same men that we were just a few years ago. We're not those little boys anymore. And so it's important that as we go through these chapters of life, to like get those reflections, come into presence, and make choices for our lives. This is the work of
love. It's like,
and for love.
What are you here for? Like, what are you willing to die for? Like, what are you willing to also metaphorically die many times for?
And why did you choose to return to this life?
I
believe it was a choice. Like, there's an aspect of myself that has a remembrance too. Like, hey, I chose this. It's not my first time.
That's a tough pill to swallow sometimes.
So why? Like, why did I choose this? For love.
And to also like see how far we can take it. Like this infinite game that we're all playing here in this realm. It's such a beautiful game that once you really begin to connect to the true beauty of life, it's like, oh my God, it's really become very important to me that we continue playing this game. And I trust that everything will end up unfolding and is unfolding in perfection, and we will all continue to play this infinite, beautiful, sacred, divine game of incarnating on Mother Earth. We will continue to do that. I trust that. And I also know that we're teetering on the edge as a species right now. We're playing with fire. Like, we're literally playing with fire. And it's even if it doesn't necessarily have an end game that's ultimate destruction, it's like, why are we doing this? Like, why are we doing this to ourselves? And the external experiences that we're sort of burdening our Mother Earth with are a reflection of a collective internal landscape. And so this is why we're also coming together to go inwards too, and to see what's really happening on the inside, and to realign any misalignments. And what that's looked like for me is like really coming back to the truth of how deeply in love I am with life, how deeply in love I am with the earth, with the feminine, and with this infinite game. And then once I really let myself be really honest there and feel how much I really care, and it's like really cool to be like, oh, 0 fucks given. It's like, yeah, stop throwing all your fucks at things that don't matter. You need them to pour all of your fucks into the one thing that really matters. And what is that thing? And I think a lot of brothers find themselves a little bit like in no man's land. I certainly have done, and sometimes still do, where I'm like, what am I here for? Like, what's the meaning of my existence? What's the purpose of my incarnation here? Like, because I just see a lot of destruction, a lot of pain. I feel a lot of disconnection, and the masculine needs a mission. Like, we need a reason, and we get to choose that. We get to make that meaning for ourselves. And so I've chosen like beauty. Like, I want to protect beauty, and love. Beauty is the manifestation of love to me. So I'm like, that's my mission. Like, now I'm all in on that.
Yeah, and I witness a lot of men get mixed up because they want to take on everything, as we do, right? And they want to, like, man, I'm out here to change the world, save the world. There's an altruistic nature to our hearts, and we don't have to start there. It's like we get to start with our beloveds, with our immediate relationships, with our mother, with our father, with our brothers and sisters. And so when we're asking ourselves, with all of our relations. But what I wanted to actually emphasize here is, like, this isn't actually ending at personal development. Like, it's not actually for us. And so we get to ask the question, who do we do it for? We do it for Creator. We do it for the ancestors. We do it for our brothers and sisters. I don't know. My mom's in town. I do it for my mom. That's my mom right there.
It's for all the mums.
It's hilarious that I'm saying that. Like, who do we do it for? Our brothers and sisters, our mothers and fathers. My mom's coming and asking me, how does she turn on Alexa?
I love it.
You know what I'm saying? So funny. And it's like, that's the real. That's the real. We can't do this too much outside of ourselves, or too far outside of our circles. Like, we all have to bring it back in and ask ourselves as men that question, like, who do we do this for? It can't be in service to self, but in service to life itself, yes. In service to beauty, yes. In service to love, yes. Beautiful. And then we have to train for it. Like, that's what you're saying. So
yeah,
this is
and it can be super fun.
Oh yeah,
and we have so much fun doing it.
I wouldn't be doing it
if
it wasn't the most fun ever, right? Like, I'm in it for the lifestyle, ultimately. Like, to be able to travel, to be with the brothers, and to share, and to dance, and to sing around those fires. Oh my God. I mean, this is what it means to be alive. And so many of us also get disconnected from that part of what it means to be human. And so this is the calling. Brothers, if you're feeling this, if you understand what we're tapping into here, we have Sacred Sons Convergence. This is our crown jewel flagship experience. This is our annual gathering. We're calling in 150 men to Edinburgh, Scotland, September 14th to 17th, and 300 men, October 50 race in Los Angeles, California. We're coming back to SoCal. And these events, just like, you know, the convergences that you experienced, they're like a once in a lifetime ceremony. It will never happen this way again. And so when we get
like
to
a portal, it's such a unique portal. Like, I know you could say that about each potential moment that's passing by, but like, this is something else. Like, just being there, you don't even have to have, I mean, I'm proof that you don't even have to have been to a men's circle, even really know what men's work is. If you feel a calling like I did, or even more so, I had a fucking dream about it. I had like a calling and a dream about it, premonition even. Yeah. Like, go, like, jump in, like, take that leap. And I'm going to be at Edinburgh.
Yes.
It's in just under a month from now.
Are you on Media's team?
Yeah. Yeah. Are you coming to Edinburgh?
Of course. Of course. I wouldn't miss it for the world, Ben. Bro, we're going to get a big hug. Like, I can't wait. I cannot wait.
Yeah. I'm on the media team.
Yes.
And I was on the media team for the Devon EMX, and EMX stands for Embodied Masculine Experience, which is like the 4-day weekend. And I think it was like my 3rd or 4th EMX, and so it was really nice. I've been on the Wolfpack team as well, and I was like, what, I'm in this work and I'm receiving so much from it that I want to give something back to it. And so I was just kind of finding what my unique offering was in that space as well. And of course, it's photography. Yeah. Like, it's snapping the moments in time. And I was saying to this in a sharing circle at the end of the EMX about my experience going to that Sacred Sons event with a camera. And it brought a lot up for me because I've spent so many years shooting and filming my whole life. And a lot of it I actually missed out on because I wasn't present. I was like living through the lens. So I'm finding this like balance between being very present, which you have to be in these events, especially if you're going to be noticing when to take a photo and when not. Mm-hmm. But also I'm going to be there like energetically present and present with my camera settings and not being too invasive. So it's a real different kind of dance.
It's almost like photographing a birth, or photographing something that sensitive.
Sacred.
Know what I mean? Yeah, something that's sacred.
Yeah.
Yes.
It feels like the most sacred art I've ever created with my camera, because you know what it's like when in those moments, those deep moments, when for me, it looks and feels like a quantum shift for brothers. Like what's happening, it's like when we go into those spaces, there is a timeline leap. It's like the timeline that you were on is no longer resonant, and so there is a moment that gets shifted across into this more abundant, more loving, more open, more connected, more beautiful timeline that you're stepping into. And I'm there shooting the exact moment that the portal is like opened and then shifted and then closed off again. And you should, I mean, you see it all the time. I'm telling you, you should see it.
Dude, you're capturing
the guys go
an
like
awakening. It's like the awakening's actually happening.
Yeah.
In real time. And you're
in real time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the brothers are like this, like their shoulders around like that. And then by the end of the weekend, they're like standing upright, their heart is out, their chest is like this, and they're confident. They got color in their face, their eyes are clear, and it's like, who are you? That's what I love witnessing in these brothers. Like, and they're like, you're like, welcome to the party, let's fucking go, you know.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit more about the media photography, because one of the things we set out to do in the beginning of this was to show the work. Like, we wanted to actually show what happens in these rituals, in these transformational experiences, because I feel like largely through media, like the real emotions of men are suppressed, are shamed even. And so what we typically see is like an actor crying in a movie, and then we all get to cry along with something that's not even real. Yeah. And we're like, no, let's show the real emotions, the real processes that men go through, right? And I think it's hugely impactful, because that moment that you're capturing, maybe there's 30 or so people involved in that, in connection, right?
Yeah.
But the ripples of what you're capturing are going to impact thousands and thousands of hearts. Like
Yeah.
that moment, it's a big bang in itself, right?
Yeah.
And like the ripples go out through that photograph that just like hits someone at the right time when they needed to see it. It's a cleansing in your feed from all of the advertising to see something real. And I love it. I'm really proud of our social media. Shout out to Brick Bane.
Yeah.
Shout out to yourself and all of the incredible photographers who show up kind of like you described. They showed up as a participant. They have these gifts to share. And so because of them and because of yourself, we get to have these incredible moments that we get to share.
Yeah.
I think it's beautiful. For a long time, men's work was also kept in the shadows. Yeah. You didn't see what was happening, and there's good reason for that, culturally and like as a part of a tradition. But we're in a very different time now, yeah. And it's important that we call people in with the realness. We're also utilizing it in an attempt to become transparent, mm-hmm. right, and to become accountable. What is actually happening on these weekends? Let me show you. Yeah. And you're still invited. Yeah.
What I love to see about the media that is put out, and when I'm actually there at the events myself, is the variety of men, like all sorts of kind of men that you could ever imagine, from all sorts of different backgrounds, all sorts of different careers, all sorts of different ages. And so it's like that's the one thing that really blows me away, is it's like there's no man is excluded from these spaces.
Totally. The diversity, like we're diverse culturally, we're diverse financially, we're diverse spiritually.
Yeah.
Even these men are coming from all backgrounds, and that's an important part of this calling. I also feel like the work is in unifying, not to become one thing, you know what I'm saying, or to lose the sense of ourselves as individuals, yeah. and sovereign beings. But like, listen, this is also the time we're in. I'm a multicultural person. It's embodied in who I am.
Yeah.
Same with JMac. I imagine in many ways the same with yourself. You're made up of many cultures, and we're in a time where we get to acknowledge that. And so we all get to bring our superpowers together in our squad and share them with one another. And I think, there's a lot of people telling us that we should be divided. And here's so many things to think about and talk about and be divided about. And what we are doing is showing in real time, in reality, that we have more in common than we do different. I see it in fathers all the time. The one thing I know about men who are fathers is that they love their children dearly. And so, like, let's start with the places where we align, not the places that divide us. Yeah. And when we do that, when we flip the script on that, it opens everything up.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah. And it's a simple, it's not always so simple, but it really is quite simple, and just a change of frame of mind to intentionally look for where are we meeting, what wavelengths are we on the same frequency on. Yeah. Let's start there. Like, okay, we're all human beings. We're all human beings. We're all so intimately connected through the air that we breathe, the water that we drink, our Mother Earth that's providing all of this experience for us. Yeah. And we're all here at the same time. Like, we made it. Yeah. Like, we made it. Like, that's something that JMac really brings through.
The fact that we made it.
Yeah. JMac always says that. He's like, we made it. Like, we're here. Like, what more do you want? Like, what more is there? What more do you expect? Nothing really changes.
That expectation is a mind killer as well.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. And nothing really changes on the outside. It's all an internal thing that really changes. And then you see the for me anyway, but as my internal experience and my internal landscape adjusted and realigned, and some beliefs were like let go of, and then new ones come in, and then they let go of them, and I just see the process unfolding internally for myself, and then my external reality is just mirroring that the whole time. And then when I really start to witness that and I'm present to that, then I'm like, whoa, this history that we're swimming in is so beautiful, and there's so much to learn. How could I possibly ever have absolutely made my mind up about one thing in particular and then grip onto it so hard that I'm actually missing out on other aspects of life? And so the process that Sacred Sons has taken me through a lot of the time has really shown me the parts of my own psyche and my own belief systems where I've been like holding on so tightly, mostly about the ideas of who I think I am. Yes. And holding on to the stories of what's happened to me. I like very much got caught up in the just perpetuating and reiterating and telling over and over again the same story of like my healing journey and like how I got here. And after a while, I'm like, to get into this next level, I really just have to stop telling it so often, you know.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Wow, that brought up a lot for me. The piece that I want to say around diversity, I remember, you know, Pierre Etienne.
Yeah, love that.
You guys meet together. You know, when we met out here in Akumba in the desert doing this men's work, I remember we're sitting around the fire at night, we're sharing songs, Kales, sharing some beautiful prayers, and Pierre Etienne's just like, can I pray with you? Like, can we pray together in this way? And he comes from a Sufi background, and everyone around the fire is just like a full yes, because like you're saying, when we come in from the what do we have more in common than we have different, we also become curious once again. How do you pray? What songs do you sing? Right? Who are your ancestors? Where did your people come from? And when we approach each other, when we approach community with curiosity, we learn new songs, we learn new movements, we start to walk the same, we start to like find that our prayers actually amplify each other's prayers. No matter what your faith is, no matter what you believe in or where you were born on this planet, like we can pray together. You know, we can sing songs together. And this is another part of like what it means to be human. I think these are some of the greatest aspects that we get to experience in being a human.
Yeah, that diversity and that lack of competition. It's not like my God is the only God, or my idea of the divine is the only divine, and my prayers are more powerful and yours don't even work, and all of that old school. We're moving way beyond that now.
Way beyond.
To this like actual celebration of the diversity and the support
and acceptance therein. Yeah. And this is not some diversity and inclusion for statistical purposes. That happens in the corporate worlds, right? And at least in corporate America, it's like, it's not some phony thing. It's actually who we are as humans. Don't forget, like these things are not political. Like the politics are another story that we get to slowly let go of in terms of beliefs, right? In terms of like holding on to beliefs that really divide us. And so like we get to start at those simple places. And another simple place is simply to look another human being in the eyes, right? To engage in those ways. And we start out with our sacred mirrors, and we come into contact with another human being who gets to be a reflection for us in that moment. And it's like, when is the last time we took the time to simply be human again? No distractions, no cell phones, you know what I'm saying? No substances.
Yeah.
There's also a piece that we bring in. Brotherhood is the medicine. So when we're together, we're fully in it. Yeah. And so that's how we get to also get to the heights of these places. I think that's important to say, potentially, for people who are listening. It's like, when we come to these spaces, this is ceremony, and it's not that we're partaking in substances together. We're high on our own supply. We're getting like that brocelium energy cultivated. And in Scotland, I wanted to say this: we have some incredible musicians, clan and drummers coming out. And they're Scottish bagpipers and drummers. Like, we're gonna celebrate, fam. We're gonna go all in, and looking forward to bringing the cultures together once again. You know, like, we've been to Scotland, we've been to the UK, and some of the other places I mentioned. We're coming to South Africa with your help. Cape Town is one of the ones that has like been on my mind.
Yeah.
And so
Vision.
yeah, big time. And so to return to Scotland, for all of us, I think will be very powerful, and to be on that land and to be with those people as well. And so we have a lot of surprises. We're bringing some elders and some other people from the community in to pray with us and to again, teach us how you pray. We're here for that.
Teach us, and to come into these spaces with an openness is how I always find myself to receive. Obviously, it seems obvious now that I say it, but like being open to receive, to learn something new, learn a new prayer from Kale, learn a new way, like bro iteration of a word from J-Mac, like bro something, like brocelium or the broller coaster.
Roller coaster. We have so many.
Yeah,
so many.
Good time. But yeah, I always come away having learned so much. Always come away and feeling like also just this external and internal rekindling of this hope. That's what I always come away with. I'm like, we're on the right track. Like we're good. We're like, there are lots of men doing this work, and I'm also taking responsibility by showing up in these spaces, taking responsibility for my part to play in this work by being here. So there's hope rekindled for myself. It gives me this sense of like trust, and there's something like my masculine energy is like on fire after I come away from these weekends. Naturally, just surrounded by very masculine dudes who are like living very on purpose, and with incredibly open hearts as well. And so you can't help but walk away having had that reignited within me. And so I'm like, right, this inspiration of this love of my beloved and my partnership, the inspiration of beauty of this world and this earth, taking all of that inspiration and bringing it into the masculine energy of like, okay, what am I doing with that? How am I honoring that? Like, how am I serving that? That's that masculine forward motion with it. And I come away with like a full tank of fuel, of masculine fuel from these weekends, plus 2 jerry cans on the roof. And I'm like, let's go. Like,
let's go.
Yeah.
That's powerful, man. And I want to speak to this. If you're a brother who's on the fence or thinking about, could I even show up? Would I belong? Would I fit in? Whatever that is.
Yeah.
Or like, can I be away for these 4 days? Like, how is that fair to, let's say, my family or to my community? It's like, again, this is a requirement. In order for us to fully show up in service and to really be about it, we have to take that time to go into these places, to train, to be in that energy, to fill our cups up so that we can return with the elixir. You know, that's really a part of this work. And I experience this with fathers. It's like, listen, you're going to have your children for the rest of your life. Take these 4 days, get your cup refilled, like get some of that anger out, go through the grief that you've been holding on to, experience the celebration and the joy and the like full activation of yourself again, dance again under the stars, and then see what happens when you go home and when you bring that full cup home. You know, that's the real work is home, right? It's always there. The real fire is the fire that we tend to in our lives. And so, yes, you deserve it. Yes, you deserve it. Yes, you are worthy of it. And not only are you worthy of it, but the people who depend on you are also worthy of it. They're worthy of your best self. Period. And so if you're looking for a way to get there, Sacred Sons, at this point, it's time tested. You know what I'm saying? We're expanding in a good way with integrity. And for any sisters who may be out there listening, you know, encourage the brothers in your life. You know, if you see them like potentially needing some of this medicine of brotherhood, you know, encourage them to take a look at Sacred Sons. And we'll see you in Scotland or LA, Convergence 8. This is also, I mean, we're on 8. Can you imagine? This is wild. We've been doing this for some time.
Potent numerology right there.
Yeah, it is. It's 8. It's infinite. We use the symbol of the Aurora Boreas. This, you know, part of the intention of this gathering as well is like, it's about death and rebirth. It's like, what are the pieces of ourselves that we have to die to be reborn again into who we are becoming. And so that's a cycle that we are always participating in. And so bringing that through, I just know it's going to be a powerful gathering. You know, can't wait to
something that really
see you there.
Like, I'm so excited to be there, and like something that really just came through that I feel cool to share in that is like that talking about that death rebirth. It's like this is an inevitable part of the process of evolution of our consciousness as individuals and collectively. It's part of what we're here to do. It's, if not all of it, it's like we're here to grow. And so like we shed that skin each time, and you can use however many metaphors you want, but the phoenix will rise like every time. And so what I've discovered is that it's going to happen anyway. So if you intentionally come into a container where that's happening in a more powerful way with people who know what they're doing and can hold you and help you actually go a bit deeper and make the most of like the process of transformation and the process of really just becoming, then it doesn't happen quite so often when it's a spanner in the works of your life, like coming out of nowhere. You know, so it's like, without wanting to necessarily like control it too much, these are the spaces to take advantage of by showing up in them, because it's going to happen at some point. So now that I've been to a bunch of these Sacred Sons events, I have the tools and I know what to expect. I know what it feels like to have a death rebirth process. And I'm not perfect. I still like put myself in a hole and then come out the other side. I'm like, I did it again. I did it again. And of course the clarity afterwards, I'm like back on mission. But it doesn't have to be, it's going to be that sometimes it's work, you know, it's most of the time it's work. It can be a little bit painful. It can be difficult. It's a death. And that's really real. And when we get used to that, it's almost like I kind of almost look forward to it. Or I at least know when it's coming now.
You're aware of what's happening. Yeah. And just like anything, like in life, when something is headed our way and we see it coming, it's like we get the ability to respond. It's those moments when we don't see it coming, when we don't have the tools, and life smacks us upside the head. And now we're like, oh my God, what is life? Right? So we get to like fine tune our awareness. And again, if we're talking about striking, wrestling, being in those spaces of really confronting work, we also do this primal recalibration. Like, what does it feel like to have someone standing in your face screaming? And can you just be with that? This is the type of training that actually lands in the body, into our nervous system. So then, like myself, you know, I've got screaming toddlers. I've got a really powerful 3-year-old, and when he's going through it, it's like I don't get hit over the head with it. I just get to be with it and to hold it and to have the awareness of what's actually happening.
So what you're saying is you can hold your child's big emotions because you've done that for yourself and you do it regularly.
I would say I can hold my inner child's big emotions. That's even more relevant. It's like I can hold my emotions, and then be with his. You know, when I'm reframing it to be with, it's like I can get in the river with him, right? And I know I'm going to float because I've got my inner boy dialed. I've got myself. I'm holding myself, and I can be a witness to whatever. And it doesn't have to be my son Holland. It can be my partner. It can be my mom who's here for 6 weeks helping us out. You know, all this. It's all of our relations. You know, we say this, you know, often in ceremony, and I think the next iteration of humanity is a return to the relational, and you'll hear that a lot in the work that we're doing. So it's important, man. It's really important work. I think it's being asked for. I think the women and the children are asking for men to step into leadership, to step into ownership and accountability. And a reminder here as well, like leadership comes in all ways. You're a leader on the media team. I'm going to be a facilitator and a leader out front. We have leaders in the kitchens at these events. We have men leading in all these ways to create this beautiful tapestry of that portal that we will experience. And dude, I mean, Edinburgh, this is going to be, I mean, I don't know. I can't even predict it. You know, the what we're able to create there, oh my gosh. We're going full Braveheart.
Love that. Yes. Yeah.
And it's a battle. It is a battlefield with no enemies. That's the thing. We're going full Braveheart, but guess what? We're all going to return from it.
Nice.
We're all going to live, and we're going to be more alive.
Mm.
We're going to be more alive because of it.
Love that, dude. I'm so excited to just be in your presence again and to give you a massive hug and just have a proper catch up with you.
Yeah.
And to be on that potent land with you amongst so many other brothers who are like grounded, open-hearted, joyful men who are like ready to like get into it. It just fills me with so much joy to be in those spaces with you, brothers. So from the bottom of my heart and from the top of my heart, my whole heart, thank you. Just just deep gratitude for you and the whole of Sacred Sons team for doing what you do in these spaces and being so unapologetically devoted to helping brothers help themselves and each other, and then bring that energy into their family homes, into their communities, and ultimately, like you said before, the ripple effects that happen from these weekends are just completely beyond our comprehension. So thank you for that. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's an honor. It's a privilege, and it's our life's work. You know, this is a calling. And so, brothers, if you feel called to it, join us, sacredsons.com. Follow us at Sacred Sons. Hit me up in a DM, whatever you need to do to get over the hurdle to be there with us. We're here for it.
Yeah, bro. Slide into my DMs as well. I'm more than happy to answer any questions and chat to you about these. If it's not this weekend, then just Sacred Sons work in general, wherever you are in the world. Sacred Sons is like expanding across the globe in a way that's like incredible to witness at the moment. So there's going to be Sacred Sons events like in Europe this last year. It was the first time you
like, there's all the wildfires, and we're spreading like water of life. We're just spreading like water around the globe. Yeah. We're expanding like water.
Love that.
We're going to put out some of these fires, bro.
Great. And in the meantime, follow Sacred Sons on Instagram at Sacred Sons. I'm going to pop that in the description. I'm going to save this live and put it on my profile so you can rewatch it if you feel like you need the inspiration. Adam Jackson, thank you for your time and your presence and your love and your open heart. I appreciate you, brother.
Ben Brown, a hug is coming your way, brother. See you in Scotland.
Peace, my bro. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody, for dropping in. Bye.